Attention please. This upload is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. GPITRAL. Definitely a must-see. Follow us.
Animal House, following the work of the SPCA, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, based in New Zealand. Narrated by Jason Hoyt. Audio described by Therese Birch. A child cuddles a black kitten, a sheep with a lamb, an inspector in an SPCA van, an inspector holds up a tiny black kitten. Programme title, Animal House.
It's early evening on a Friday, and most of the SPCA staff have knocked off and gone home. But not Inspector Kevin Plowright, who is just arriving back at base.
It's 6 o'clock on a Friday. I'm supposed to be at home relaxing, but I've ended up uplifting a couple of dogs. They were in emaciated condition. They were kept as burglar alarms, as they were described to me as, kept between the back door and the laundry door in a small concrete area. There's obviously nowhere near big enough, and I don't think there was enough exercise going down, and generally not looked after very well at all. I brought them in here. What we're going to do is run some tests and see if there's a medical reason why they're so thin, and then we'll go from there. Right. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to carry this one. He's got a lot of muscle wastage on his legs. His back end isn't very good. They've wasted away quite thin. He's having a little bit of trouble walking. So I'll carry that one.
He feeds them in a run.
And some of this. There you go. Yes, hang on.
The bonus for these dogs being uplifted from their owners is that they get to eat dinner tonight.
They're very enthusiastic on having some dinner, as you can see. I've fed them separately because when they're that hungry, they can get pretty growly with each other over food.
Until these dogs get their vet check to determine their fate, they'll have food, water and plenty of loving care. By Monday morning, another emaciated dog has arrived at SPCA headquarters. Canine attendant Taryn Gibbs is looking after her.
She came in as a stray and she's not in the best body condition. When she first came in, she was quite aggressive. She's not keen on men at all. When she first came in, Peter, our vet, wasn't able to examine her because she wanted to eat him. But once we started feeding her, and she's come around quite a bit.
Besides being way too thin, the dog has sores on her ears.
That is fly strike.
Fly strike is an ugly disease caused by blowflies.
Flies eating at her, really.
In dogs, it can happen if the animals are weak or have dirty, matted hair. In severe cases, euthanasia may be the only humane option. Vet nurse Amy takes photos that could be used as evidence if the owner is found and the case goes to prosecution. Then it's time for a weigh-in. A dog of this size should weigh over 20 kilos, but she's nowhere near that.
She should put on at least another 5 kilos, I'd say. Then she'll be nice and round.
The skinny dog has taken a shine to Taryn, who calls her new fan Bunker. But this is a difficult case. Bunker is scarred both physically and psychologically.
She's a lovely dog and she needs a chance. I mean, just from looking at her, she looks like she's had a rough life. And nothing deserves that. So, give them as much chance as you can. And, I mean, if at the end of the day it doesn't work out, well, at least you know you tried.
Across town, in a suburban house, an uninvited guest has turned up. It seems a stray cat has got stuck in the chimney.
2 nights ago, we were sitting here watching TV and we had this loud bang and crash. Never thought much about it. Yesterday, I came in and I heard this purring and I thought, oh, God, what's that? So I moved everything out and sure enough, there's a cat stuck behind there. Neighbours have gone to ask all the other neighbours and they seem to have their cats, so I'm not too sure whose cat it is. It's not ours.
The poor Moggy has been stuck in the chimney for 24 hours. So not only is it distressed, it's possibly injured. So Vitarina asks her neighbours for some help.
It's all right, Whispers. Try and get you out.
Neighbour Doug has a look with a torch and a mirror, but the cat is well hidden.
It's pretty dusty up there. Because it's so tiny and so dense in there, it's just impossible.
Time to bring in the SPCA, so Inspector John Hedemeier turns up to help rescue the unhappy animal.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good.
Oh, I can hear it.
Yeah.
Last night, I got down on my back and used a torch in the mirror.
Oh, no.
And it's just too dark up there, you couldn't see anything.
No, I don't think it'll be in the chimney itself. Where's your manhole into the ceiling space?
It's just right over here.
John thinks the cat has fallen down a cavity in the ceiling that runs beside the chimney, so he will have to climb into the roof to look for it.
There's a hole in the roof up the top here, so I think what's happened, the cat's walked along the ceiling space and it's fallen down.
If the cat is injured, it will be a difficult rescue in such a small space. But when John gets some light into the cavity, the cat has already escaped.
Yep, the cat's gone. With us making a lot of noise, the cat's got a hell of a fight and found its way up. I can hear someone outside saying that the cat's on the roof, so that's a good sign.
It appears the cat has escaped the same way it got in, through a small hole in the roof. Everyone's pleased to see the cat emerge, unharmed from under a car, and her affectionate nature indicates she's not a stray.
The cat kind of came out on its own accord, and what's happened is that because the cat was in a confined space, she had lost all coordination and she didn't know where she was. The minute I lit up the area, she's refocused and found her way out, so it was a good outcome. She's quite a healthy girl, she's well fed, so obviously she is someone's pet.
However, after inquiring around the street, no one knows who she belongs to, so she'll have to go with John to the SPCA. But in the meantime, the neighbours take photographs to put on a flyer they'll distribute around the neighbourhood.
So I'm going to take the cat back to base, see if it's reported missing, and hopefully reunite it with its owner.
John puts the cat in a cage in his van.
At the SPCA, the emaciated stray dog Taryn named Bunker has settled down enough for her vet check.
When she came in on the weekend, she wasn't friendly enough to be examined, but she's calmed down a lot in the last couple of days. It's amazing that she's settled down this quickly. She's probably 2 to 3 years old, pretty much skin and bones, and obviously hasn't been very well looked after. And these wounds on her ears are basically from fly strike, so they've obviously been going on for a very long time. Just a pressure sore where there's been no covering of the bones at all and just lying on concrete, and they just develop those sores. She's probably lost about 30% of her body weight, so that means over the next 4 to 6 weeks we'd probably expect her to put on 5 to 6 kilos, and hopefully over that time she'll also become more and more sociable. But you know, she's improving so fast that it's worth spending the time with her. We'll temperament assess her before we look at sending her to foster, and if everything goes well, we'll then send her to foster probably for about a month until she's in good condition and these wounds have healed up to the stage that should be eligible for a home.
The next patients in the queue are the 2 underweight dogs used as burglar alarms.
These dogs were uplifted late last Friday, and I checked them in the weekend, and we weighed them then and just made sure that there was nothing obviously wrong with them at that stage from a clinical point of view.
Blood and fecal samples will be taken from the dogs and sent off to the lab.
Just to check to make sure that there's no problem with liver, kidney, pancreas, checking for things like infections, anemia. If this does go to a prosecution, we basically want to know that there was no medical reason for them to be so thin. We've got an initial weight, and as with all these thin dogs, she'll be just fed normally and then she'll be weighed weekly. And of course, she was one of 2 dogs, and we'll do exactly the same with the other dog.
The results of these tests will reveal if these dogs are suffering from an illness or ill treatment.
End of part 1.